my gems, welcome back to my channel. This is glitzzygem. Thank you for watching. We're going to go ahead and do a third look on this eyeshadow palette, on the Profusion's Mixed Metals Ambers eyeshadow palette. Yeah, go ahead and do one like that. We're going to do one last look. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the base shade here. I think I'm going to go in with a Polite, which is the lightest shade here. I'm going to go ahead and use my base shadow brush to pat it all over the lid. Just pat it all over the lid. Hope everybody's had a lovely day. Please subscribe if you're new to my channel, like my video, and also hit the notification bell. I'll be interested in hearing any kind of comments down below, sharing your thoughts. If you have this palette, let me know what y'all think of it. I've actually had great results with these palettes, with these Profusion line of palettes. Yeah, granted, the quality of like the formulation of it is not as similar to like the higher end product, but you know, this is for, you know, more low end, cost effective. You know, it's more reasonable with as far as like the pricing and the way this product, the way the formula for this product was made. I think the like I always mention in all my videos, I think it's reasonable. The pricing is reasonable for this Profusion's line of cosmetics, which you know, with their makeup formula. I mean, it lasts all day long. It lasts for 8 hours at least, that I know of, probably even longer. I just always tested these shadows, and they've lasted me a long time with the primer. So I always like to test them with primers, because you know, without primers some shadows just don't stick. And you know, maybe in some of my reviews I should do one without a primer to see if it'll last 8 hours, which I doubt, because the formula on these are real they're more like talcum-y based, kind of like talcum based powders, you know, in the pan. So in my experience with those type of eyeshadows, they tend to fall off after a certain, like, it doesn't last you 8 hours. You have to have something to kind of stick to your eye in order for it to stay on your eye for a long time. So that's my experience with these type of shadows. It's just, you can just feel the formula is not going to stick to your eye if you don't have a primer. So I do recommend you wearing a primer with this. So for those who don't wear primers, this may not be the palette for you, because if you want something that's long wearing, this may not be the palette for you. But if you don't mind it just withering away throughout the day, you know, then, you know, that's fine too, you know, because, you know, everybody's different. Everybody doesn't care if their makeup comes off after a certain amount of hours, and some do care. Some do want to have, you know, eyeshadow that lasts for a long time on their eyes. But like I said, it probably won't last 8 hours. It probably lasts maybe 4 hours, if that. 4 hours to maybe the longest probably be 6. I don't know, because I haven't tested it without a primer. And I don't think I plan to do so. I think I'm more of a eyeshadow primer girl, where I like to wear primers for my eyes. Maybe not in this type of palette I would do that kind of a wear test. I think I'd probably do a wear test in a different palette, more a higher end palette, where I know, like maybe even drugstore palettes like Maybelline. I know Maybelline, they last on your eyes for a long time. I think I have done a wear test where on one side I had a primer, on the other side I haven't. So that's the only reason why. There's just certain eyeshadows that I really do recommend you to wear an eyeshadow primer, and this is one of these. The Profusion's line of cosmetics is one of those eyeshadow palettes. You know, the formula is made for you to wear with a primer. So yeah, the next shade I want to go into is I'm gonna go kind of light this time, because I've been doing like really dark, like neutral shades here. So I want to go ahead and go in with this shade. I'm just gonna build up the color here. I'm gonna go with Likeable, this one here, and I'm still using a fluffy brush here. I'm just going to start just in the crease, blending it out. we're gonna do like a neutral look today. Not something dark, like I mentioned, not something warm. I mean, it's gonna be warm tone, but like I said, it's gonna be like a light shadow. I think I always say that it's gonna be light today, but I always say it's gonna be light, and then it ends up being a little darker than I expected, but not as dark as what my previous videos looked like. So the next shadow I'm going to is Outgoing, so I'm building up the shade here, going with Outgoing. I'm also putting that in the crease, outer V. And it's very light, so I'm just building up the color here. I'm building up to the darker shades, but still making the look lighter than usual. The next shade I want to go in with is a little bit of I think I want to go in with Fearless, just a little bit, just a little dab right here on the outer corner, and move it onto the lid here, third of the lid, and into the crease, but very lightly. I just want to add this very lightly. You know, I don't want it to be very dark, because I know you can build up the color, but in this case I don't want the color to be as built. I don't want it to build up as much. I'm using this fan as to remove excess makeup. It's not fallout, it just excess makeup. I was using that fan brush. But yeah, just kind of, yeah, I'm just very lightly going across, my eyelid, my crease, I'm sorry, just very lightly, because I don't want to build this dark terracotta shade. I don't want to build it up. Just enough there. And yeah, that's what I'm getting now. I do want to add some burlesque, just to kind of give it some definition on the outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and use this shade Burlesque, which is this chocolate shade. But like I said, I'm not going to use a lot. I'm not going to build it up. I'm just going to kind of blend it in very lightly. I'm using a very light very light movements of the brush, very light strokes of the brush, very lightly, like very lightly touching the skin with it, because I do not want it to get dark on me. And it's very nice how you're able to manipulate the brush and the colors that you put on your eyelids. You know, it's very it's a skill. I think that's a skill, because a lot of people can be heavy-handed and some of them are very light-handed, and I think when you're in the makeup industry, like as far as makeup artistry goes, you know, I think you need to have both a light hand and a heavy hand, you know, so that you can achieve the looks that you want to achieve, whether it be a bold look or a very neutral, subtle look like what I'm doing right now. And I do have excess color here, which I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off now, because it's just bothering me there. It's just bothering me having it there. Okay, so just use a little makeup towelette and just kind of use the towel to kind of get that excess oil off from the makeup remover towelette. The next shade I want to use is Celestial, and that's the one I'm going to use in my inner corner. Celestial is the lightest shimmer shade of this palette. Wannabe is another shimmer shade. I think that's darker than the Celestial. But you know, I did want to use Wannabe, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna dry pat down. I'm gonna do it with a dry brush, a dry petal brush, like this flat petal brush. Use Wannabe, which is this lighter shade here on the end. Wannabe. And I'm gonna go ahead and just pat that on the lid. Dry. Ooh, got some on my eye. Do not want that. Don't want to wake up with a puffy eye. In case I do get it in my eye, inside of my eye. So I'm doing the same thing on the other end, just putting it on the lid. Just putting that shade Wannabe on the lid. And just all over the lid, just the bottom part of the lid, just putting it there. Now I'm going to wet my brush. Wet my brush. And I'm going to go ahead and use Celestial, this one here in the corner, bottom corner. Very light shimmer shade. Has like a, I want to say like a neutral peachy undertone. I don't know how else to describe it. To me, this palette looks like it's almost like a peach palette, but it's not a peach palette, you know what I mean? It's like a neutral palette. But look how beautiful that's blending in. How beautiful. Oh, did y'all get to see that? You look how beautiful how it's coming out just with just wetting the brush. Isn't that lovely? That's quite lovely. Celestial I think has the most shimmer out of all the other lighter shaded colors pans in this palette. Celestial has the most shimmer out of the other ones. Look at that. It's just so glowy. It's like shimmery highlight, almost like a highlight you can use in the inner corner wet. Here in the inner corner. Wet. Y'all see that? I'm really liking the way this is looking. Look how it's looking right now. It's looking really nice. And it's light. It's very subtle. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use just a fluffy flat brush here. A flat blending brush, and I do want to put more of that Wannabe shade on the outer part of this eyelid, just to blend those two shades together, just to kind of make them not have any, for me not to have any harsh lines from this very high pigmented shimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and put that Wannabe shade, because it's also a shimmer, but it has a very low shimmer density. As a shimmer pigmentation is not very as shimmery or highlight as the Celestial shade. So here we have the rough finished look. I'll be right back so I can do the rest of my eye look. Alright? Don't change that channel. Well, hello, I'm back. So here's the finishing look. Like I said, I wanted to do this look subtle because all the other colors were kind of dark on the outer corner. I used eyeliner in my other looks on the first and second look of this eyeshadow palette. So I just wanted to do a more light, natural, subtle look for those who don't like to wear too much makeup or who don't like to wear dark makeup. They just like to have a more like a daytime look type of eye look. So this is the look that I created with this eyeshadow palette. So yeah, that's the finishing look on this Profusion's Amber palette. I hope you enjoyed it. I really noticed, I had mentioned in one of the last video, I had mentioned that all the shades to me are looking like peachy undertone shades, but I think it's supposed to mimic like the palette, which is like a rose gold palette, because that's what I'm getting, like rosy peachy vibes from this palette. You know, it's a really nice palette, you know, to work with for those who like neutral colors. I do recommend people to go out and buy this palette. You know, it came in a kit with a brush, with an eyeliner and a primer. So if you do see these in store and you want to buy one, or if you already have one, great. But yeah, so I just went ahead and I just put mascara. I didn't put any eyeliner on. I put just a eyeliner pencil at the bottom waterline, which is in the shade. This was in the shade. It's by LA Colors Taupe. It's in the shade Taupe. LA Colors eyeliner pencil. So yeah, really enjoyed doing these looks with this palette. Thank you for watching. For those who are new again, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, like my video, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you, my gems. Thank you for watching. Right, let your friends know about my channel.